Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I was like, is this thing on?
It definitely
um,
is. I'm here.
okay, alrighty. Well, let's get this thing started. Okay. We can all safely say we knew exactly what was going through our minds when we saw that blonde wig answer that fateful phone call. Nobody knew at the time that in the Scream universe, all bets were off, and anyone, no matter how big or small the star, could be slashed off. Hello and welcome to the final pod, where we talk all the time, and I cannot believe we are here, and it is the premiere episode.
Yes, finally.
A bit overdue, but we made it nonetheless.
Yes.
I know this was not the originally planned episode that I was teasing on social media, but it is a good one nonetheless. I am Ezra Rivers, and I am your host, and I am joined today by my lovely guest, Cheyenne. So please introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your horror journey, I would say.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. My name is Cheyenne. Um, my horror journey. Well, I started watching horror movies at the ripe age of maybe around 6 or 7.
Like
Um,
most of us.
yeah, the earliest memory I have is me watching Nightmare on Elm Street just in one of my family friends' house, literally just in the dark, eating pieces of bread and just hooked on the TV.
Oh,
So
wait, hold on. I have to stop you right there because are you telling me that your first horror movie was A Nightmare on Elm Street?
I'm my earliest memory, yes, is A
That
Nightmare
was
on Elm Street.
mine. That was mine as well.
Yes, yes. I swear I remember the memory of his arms just stretching as he's walking down the alleyway and the girl is just running for her life and I'm like, oh my God,
Tina,
like
Tina.
yes, like that. I don't know, like it scared me, but it was one of those things where I was just so intrigued, like, oh my God, like what is this? But that's the beginning of my journey, and ever since then it was just like I ran with it. Every scary movie, I was on it. I wanted to see it. I wanted to be scared. Like, I don't know, like I feel like I like the feeling of being scared. I know that sounds weird, but
I mean, I
yeah.
think that's why we all watch horror movies to be scared, but not physically be in front of something that's scary.
Exactly. Because put me in that situation and I'm a fold every time. So
Oh yeah, it's like
I'm a
a
fold.
guy. Yeah, no, we're good.
I'm a fold.
I'm
Um,
so happy to have you here with me for this first episode. And as someone who is very near and dear to my heart, I thank you for taking the time to doing this.
of
Um,
course.
I know the life of an EMT is very hectic, so I appreciate it. Thank
It
you.
is. Of
Um,
course.
yeah, so let's get into it. So, a little bit about Scream, I guess. So, Scream premiered on December 20th of 1996. I was actually just 3 years old at the time,
Holy shit.
which is crazy because we're not going to talk about our ages anyway. um, I'm actually just realizing that this makes it the 27th anniversary of the film on the 20th of this month, which is insane. Um, the movie premiered and was met with wide success, though everyone involved did not think it would be, which is so interesting to me that, like, as an artist and as someone who creates content and art, I feel like you always think that it's going to be the best, and
Hmm.
then it kind of is or it isn't, right? Like,
Absolutely. For
but to
sure.
think that like they went into it like, oh, this is just not going to work, whatever the case may be. But a lot of it was because they were releasing a horror slasher during the holidays, so everyone's releasing these holiday movies, and it was a risk, right? It was something that could have gone very, very wrong, but I think it worked out for the best. I think it was a risk well taken.
I agree completely.
The movie grossed over $170 million worldwide and single handedly redefined the slasher horror genre, making it one of the highest grossing films of that year. The meta commentary, the humor, the gore within the kills, there wasn't anything like it. And that's truly why I believe it stuck with people. Because people want to be shocked, right? No matter how much they say they don't like it, they actually do.
Yes. Yes.
And that's exactly what Scream did. It flipped the genre on its head and said, hey, all bets are off. I mean, they killed Drew Barrymore off in the first 10 minutes, and she was easily
No,
the
for
marketing.
real.
Like, when you think about it too, right? She was like the face of the poster.
Yes.
She was the biggest star of that movie at the time, and they were just like,
Mhm.
girl, you gotta go.
No, for real.
And I think that's why, like, no matter where the series kind of goes, it's always going to be an iconic staple in horror movies. Um, and I'm forever grateful for that. Like, I think that it really took this thing that we all kind of knew and just was like, we're going to go totally off the rails, and you guys are going to love it or hate it, but we're going to do it. And luckily for them, everyone loved it. Um, so I guess my question now for you is, when did you first see Scream? Like, do you remember the first time you saw it? And like, from there, kind of, where has it gone now? And has it become like too cheesy? Is it losing its spark, I guess we could say?
So I don't remember exactly when I first watched Scream. I know it was along the lines of when I was 6 or 7, but what I will say is, before this podcast, obviously, I rewatched it just because I wanted to, cross my T's, dot my I's, make sure I remembered everything was fresh in my brain. So I know you remember me texting you, and I'm like, I started at 1, and I feel like 1 will always be such a, and I'm gonna curse because this is just me being so super genuine, but so fucking good. Like, there is nothing I could complain about, but I feel like I've always kind of been this way with movies. I hate the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, and the 5s. I'm not really a fan of making more movies off of originals. It's just not my
She's
thing.
not a sequel girl.
No,
She's
I
not a
hate
sequel
that.
girl.
I hate it. It pisses me off because they never do the first one justice.
Okay.
I have yet to see a movie, or maybe I have seen a 1 and a 2 be like, oh yeah, this is it. And then like 3, 4, and 5 fall off, and I'm just like, so what was the point? So when I started at Scream 1, the original, and I was just like, oh, chef's kiss. Like, I feel like the storyline is just so good. Like, it just is so good. I went to 2, and I'm like, all right, this is still pretty good. But once I started going to the 3s, the 4s, and the 5s, I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. I guess it's just because, like, it's the same movie over and over again, essentially, to me. Just in, like, a couple of things tweaked.
It's just a different killer every time, right? But it's the same thing. Girls get phone calls.
Exactly.
And then they're getting killed.
Exactly. So it's like, not that there's but so many times you can do it, because at the end of the day, like, you can continue to do it over and over and over again. It's different kills, it's different things. But it's just like, I feel like there's nothing like a good original. And I'll always appreciate the original first movies of any horror movie or any, like, movie in general, but we're speaking about horror movies in general. But I'll always appreciate the originals first, just because those are the staple, like, those are the beginnings. What I will say is, I hadn't watched any of, like, the Scream movies after, like, maybe 3. Until this recently, and when you were speaking to me about Miss Emma Roberts, I have nothing against Miss Emma Roberts, but that whole movie was shit. That one was the worst one I have seen thus far. Like, I don't know, like, I really don't like her in scary movies. Like, it doesn't do it for me. She's not, like, horror queen for me.
And that's so crazy, because for like a lot of people, especially when you think about it, like, I think it's like a 10-year gap maybe between the 3rd and the 4th one.
Yeah.
It's like, for a lot of people, it kind of reintroduced the franchise to a younger generation, and a lot of people liked it. I know you're probably going to be like, how?
I don't know, but I think that's the thing that pisses me off. Why are we trying to do something for the younger generation? Like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Hey, like, I don't know. Listen, I'm a big believer. Like, if you weren't born in that era, let's stop trying to make it for the new era. Give them their own things. Give them their, like, original Scream movies. Like, like, give them something new to rave about. Not like they can't join the party. You know how Chris Brown said, like, you can't even get in. Like, that's it. Like, you can't get in. That's what it is. Because they just won't get it. Like, they won't get us sitting here raving about Scream and Jason Voorhees and the Michael Myers. Like, they don't get it, and that's fine. But like, leave it for us. I don't want it to be updated. I don't want it to be hit with a whole bunch of social media and like, I don't know, like, it just doesn't do it for me.
No, that's actually, those are fair points, 100%. I feel like someone of the older generation, I will say, I definitely go back and rewatch like the 80s horrors and the 70s
Mm-hmm.
horrors. Like, for me, new age horror has become about shock value versus quality of the movie.
Absolutely.
So they want to jam pack with these superstars. You have, no disrespect to her, and she's a queen and a businesswoman, but you've got like Kim Kardashian now acting
Oh
in like
my gosh.
American Horror Story, and I'm like,
You don't even want to start on that topic because I have some words. Okay.
and I'm just like, I don't understand why we're doing that, and then it's clearly showing and lack of quality for the product, right? Um,
Absolutely.
but I think when it comes to Scream, I think that's what they kind of pride themselves on like always finding a way to like reinvent it while also keeping it to the core, like
Mm-hmm.
don't trust the love and we have the rules, don't trust the love interest, don't have
Absolutely.
sex, never say be right back because you're never
Uh-huh.
coming back, like.
Yep.
And I appreciate the fact that they keep these things going, but I have the side of me that's like, maybe we should just call it like the masked
Uh-huh.
killer. Like,
Right.
let's drop the Scream name because it's just coming out of shock value, right? It's just they want to bring the crowds out, so we're going to call it Scream.
Right.
Perfect example. Scream 5 is Scream 5, but it's marketed as just Scream.
Right.
And it's like it's kind of a reboot in a sense. Like, we get Samantha Carpenter and Tara Carpenter, who are supposed to be the new age Sydney, and if Sydney had a sibling. And
Right.
I, for one, am a total, I'm going to say hashtag justice for Melissa Barrera, and I will go on record and say that because I stand with her decisions and I think it's gross that they fired her. We'll get into that. But
Yes.
okay, let's jump back into it before we ramble forever. So we could spend all day talking about the Scream history, or we can get into like the nitty gritty, which is the current state of the franchise. But kind of backtracking a little bit. So before that, let's get into what's currently been happening in the series, right? So we got Scream 2002, 2022, sorry, which is Scream 5. So I'm not really sure why it wasn't titled Scream 5, like I said. I think it was a reboot tactic, as we all kind of know, but it also continued the story in a way that we got the legacy characters. We got Sydney, Gail, Dewey,
Right.
even though, R.I.P. Dewey, which
Oh my God, my heart was shattered.
I don't even understand how you killed Dewey. Like, Dewey? Really? Oh, anyway.
But I don't know, man. My heart.
Yeah, my heart really.
I was crying with Gail. Okay, I was on the floor with Gail.
I think we all were. I think it's safe to say that when Dewey took the knife, it was kind of reminiscent of like the Drew Barrymore, right? Like,
Yes.
you get this character who is so beloved and so treasured in a series, and they just took it there. Like,
Yeah.
and then for me, it was kind of pointless in a sense because I feel like killing Dewey should have had more impact on Gail's story.
Absolutely.
And we see in Scream 6 that she's the same girl. Like, she's the same
Right.
woman. She wrote the book still. Okay, I'm rambling. Let me stick to the notes really quick because we're going to get into all that.
Good.
Okay, so Scream 5 premiered and was a massive hit. It was praised, through and through. Many people said it was the best Scream movie in years, and I believe it held up to it. We got our legacy characters, like I said. We got Sydney, we got Gail, and then we got a new cast of young victims who we now call the Core Four. The introduction of the new cast, along with the legacy characters, gave both fan service to the fans who have been with the franchise for decades and opened up the way for a new generation of horror lovers to fall in love with Ghostface and his prey. So, you are obviously younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
and we've spoken kind of about 1 through 4. So, how did you feel about Scream 5?
So I actually really enjoyed Scream 5.
You don't sound too certain. Are you just trying to please the fans?
Because no. Because honestly, like the fucking Scream 5, yes, but I'm looking at the cast members and it's saying Hayden Panettiere is in that, and I did not see Hayden in that. So
Oh no, she was
is it
definitely.
capping?
Yeah, that's Cap. She was in 6. They
Okay,
brought her
because
back
I'm
for
like,
6. No.
we're capping. So that's why I'm like, wait, hold on. Scream 5 with hold on, because I don't know cast names and things like that, so I just want to get that down pat.
Oh, I got you. You get Melissa Barrera as Samantha Carpenter.
Okay, I got it down pat. I got them all
Okay.
here. What I will say is I actually really like that one. When you were telling me how like once I got to the 5s and the 6s that I would start to really like it, I really liked Scream 5. I'm not gonna lie to you. I liked how they changed the story. I like how they had Melissa Barrera as the daughter of Billy Loomis. I don't know. I really like that switch.
Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
I really, really like that. That was like a twist and kind of had me like, And then we saw Billy, and I was like, oh, all right, like.
I mean, psychopath or not, total heartthrob.
Love him, and I don't care. Sorry. I love him, and I will always love him. I don't know. I guess I have like a thing for like when they bring the old characters kind of back, or like they're still there, and I see them older. Like it kind of like, it makes my heart feel something. So now that I'm seeing Neve Campbell, and she's like a bit older, it's kind of like, oh my god, like people age. Like I have this thing where I'm like, oh, she's like getting older, and then me seeing Courtney Cox older, I'm just like, oh god. So,
and still kicking ass, right? Like older and
yes,
still kicking ass and still taking names.
And I'm like, holy shit, like these people have been stabbed about 47 times already. Like,
I mean, come on, like
holy moly. But I really genuinely liked the story. I'm not really a huge fan of like when they bring new characters in, because I get so attached to old characters that it's like, no, these are the only characters I could ever be.
Yeah.
But what I will say is I think Jenna Ortega did an amazing job. Melissa Barrera did an amazing job. Mikey Madison, I would have never thought that she would have been the killer. Like, no, that one actually shocked me.
Oh, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen like, Scream 5.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was insane. I will say
even the boyfriend. Sorry, Chris.
No, you're good.
Ezra, I'm so sorry. This is so bad.
It's okay. We're good.
But yeah. So I would have never even thought the boyfriend either. Like I should have thought that, but like I feel like it took me too long to figure it out. Like he played such a good like pretend, wanna be like loving boyfriend that I'm like, what the.
Yeah, I will say, I think with the boyfriend thing, I saw it coming from a mile away, only because we have that scene with Dewey,
right.
Sam, and Richie in the house when they're asking him for help.
Yeah.
And the first thing he tells her is never trust the love interest.
No, for real.
And I think when he said that, I was like, you're a little creepy, like.
Right.
But he played it amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, he was so good. And then when he kind of like flipped at the end and really like went for her, I think it was not only shocking, but also very different in the sense of when Billy showed his true colors, he was more sadistic.
Yeah.
And more like evil with it. You know, he had killed her mom beforehand. And then it's like, you get Richie, who's this like goofy, loving, like, I got you, like it's us against the world. And then he's just like laughing maniacally and he's just losing his mind like second by second. So I think it reminded me very much of like The Shining. Yes. And how you kind of see like Jack Nicholson's character like descend into madness. I
Hmm.
thought that was really, really good. And Baby Girl took the cake with the Ghostface Killer. Like,
Yo,
she threw down with Sydney and Gail in that kitchen, and they were like, I can't rave enough about Scream 5 only
yo,
because I think it truly, again, redefined horror
yes.
and gave us a fresh take on an already built franchise and did a reboot or a requel, whatever they call it, in like
Hmm.
the right way, let's say.
Yes, I completely agree.
Um, so after Scream 2022, fans and audiences were intrigued when we heard that the storyline was moving to New York City for Scream 6. And returning with the entirety of the cast minus one, our beloved Sidney Prescott.
Mm.
Rumors began flying around that Sidney's role in Scream 6 was going to be cut super short until it was revealed that Nev pulled from the franchise completely, for good reason, though, of course. At the end of the day, an artist, an actor, a musician needs to be paid for their work, right?
Absolutely.
And I think when you have someone as iconic as Miss Campbell herself, you know, she's kind of built this franchise, right? Like, without Sidney, we don't have a Ghostface.
No, for real.
And it's like, how do you lowball the sole survivor and the reason for Ghostface even existing? It's like saying you won't pay Jamie Lee to face off with Michael again.
Okay.
Like, give me a break. There is no Ghostface without Sidney. There's no Michael without Laurie. Those are just the rules. Like,
Hmm.
now, when it comes to the execution of 6, I thought it was fun. I would have liked to see more of New York in it, in the sense of it didn't feel like New York. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they took us to the
Oh
subway,
my goodness.
and yeah, they took us to a bodega, but it's like, it was clearly California, right? Like, let's
Let
just
me
say
tell
that.
you
Like,
something. It's so crazy that you said that because that was gonna be my first point. I hate when they make movies, especially scary movies based in New York, because they never really get like New York right. It's like they show a couple of scenes of the freaking bridge and like 34th, and then it's like we're in New York. No, no,
yeah, and it's
we are
so
not.
clear and obvious. Like, I get it. I get it, right? I wanted to be an actor one time, so I started to get into like the behind of the business.
Right.
And New York, to film in New York is crazy expensive. A lot of times they can't get the permits, right, to film in these places. So they have to build these sets. But here's my thing. Hire a New Yorker to build a New York
Okay.
set.
Okay.
Like, even the train station, you have 96th Street, right? I believe it's like 96 or something. And I'm like,
Hmm.
96 has never looked like that. And 96th Street has 3 train stations. Like,
Right.
you get the 1 train, the 2 train, and the 3 train, like, all in
Right.
one station. And we got this one little scene of them getting on a train. I don't know. I'm very big on, like you said, if you're gonna show New York, make it New York. Have them run through the hood. Like, I don't care. Even Central Park.
Right.
Even Central Park was clearly not Central Park.
Yo.
I think location-wise, it lacked in the New York atmosphere, right? We didn't get like the loud noises and the taxis and the car door slamming, and you know, you have the core four and everyone living in this building. I would have loved to hear a couple arguing in the next apartment over. Like, that's what New York is. It's an atmosphere, it's a vibe, and I think it
Absolutely.
lacked the vibe of New York. Would you agree?
I 1 trillion% agree.
Now, with all that said, I will say I have seen Scream 6 about 7 times because I do enjoy it, right? Like, I think I'm a big Melissa Barrera fan, as I said, hashtag justice for Melissa Barrera. Um, and I think they really took her character where she needed to go. Like, she's the anti-Sydney, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Sydney's very logical. Sydney's very, I'm gonna think on my feet. This is how this should go. Where Sam is just like, I need to survive. And I'm
Right.
gonna protect my sister. I'm gonna stab my ex-boyfriend 27 times because that's what I
Mm-hmm.
have to do. Like,
Right.
and I just love a girl in a tank top that kicks ass. I mean, let's be real.
Okay.
Let's be real.
Okay.
It's the horror trope that I think we truly need to bring back. Please, let's make this another hashtag. Bring back final girls in tank tops. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah. I
um,
agree.
so now that we've kind of gotten Screams 1 through 6 out of the way, let's bring it up to date with what is going on now.
Yes. Please tell me what's going on because I'm not too. I heard a couple of things, but like I'm not too sure of like the facts and what's going on. So like, please bring me up to speed.
Okay, girl. Well, buckle your seatbelt, take the ghost face mask off, and
All
get
right.
ready because it is a wild one. New whisperings are going about that Scream 7 will actually be another reboot of the
Oh,
franchise.
brother.
And here's why. So, as I stated, we have lost Marissa Barrera. Did I state this already?
Yes, you said it a bit earlier. Yes, you did.
Okay, so let's give a little context, right? So Melissa Barrera, as we all know, Sam Carpenter, Billy Loomis's daughter, breakout star of Scream 5. Um, she recently spoke out about the conflict going in with Gaza. And
Okay.
she spoke out in support of basically, saying peace on earth, love to everyone. Like, we have to stop
Right.
this. Like, what you should do if you have the platform, right?
Absolutely.
In return, she was officially fired from Scream
Oh,
7. Yes.
what?
Yes. Right after her Instagram post, there were things going around social media and kind of reports that she had left, right? We find out that she was actually fired from the franchise because of speaking out for Gaza.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it gets way better. In support of this, Jenna Ortega left the franchise as well.
Oh.
Now,
Oh.
yeah, the girls are girling, and I'm here for it.
Okay.
What I will say is the kind of cover story that's going on, which, if you know, is BS. I'm going to call it like it is. They were saying that Jenna's schedule was too busy with Wednesday season
Mm.
2. And so, again, with Miss Campbell, how it first came out that her role was going to be short, it was stated that Jenna Ortega did not have a big role in Scream 7 to begin with.
What?
We all know that that is BS.
Right.
You cannot tell me that you were not going to work with her schedule to have this film complete a trilogy.
Okay.
There's always a way around it if there's a will, right? Any Hoosers. She left the franchise, and I am going to say she left it in support of Melissa Barrera because I believe that's what's happening.
Okay.
And because of that, they were looking to get Nev Campbell and Patrick Dempsey back, which, if you remember, I believe it's Scream 2. We get Patrick Dempsey as her love interest.
Yes.
Mr. Mark, he's always just going to be McDreamy to me, but we have Mr. Mark, and if you remember in Scream 5, she does mention that Mark is home with the kids. So he's in the universe, and they were looking to bring him back. New whispers are saying that almost no one is coming back for Scream 7.
Boo.
And because of that, they are now having to reboot the series.
No.
Here's what I think, right? So, like, I guess these are the questions that come up, right? Like, what does this mean for the franchise? Are we going back to the beginning? And are we getting a new Sidney Prescott? Because if so, I don't really think I want it. Like, I can't even lie.
But I don't know. This goes back to my original point. Like, let it be dead. Like, I'm sorry. Like, let it be dead. Because at the end of the day, right? There is nobody like the original Sidney Prescott. I'm gonna just call a spade a spade. That is just what it is. We have definitely gotten new characters that we love, right? Because let me tell you, Samantha Carpenter, love that girl.
Patty.
Tara Carpenter, love her too. But it's just like, how long am I gonna be 45 or like Scream 47 and he's still gonna be calling talking about what's your favorite scary movie? Like, I don't know. Like, like at a point it's just like, all right, like I'm not gonna have the same love for the movie as I do now. You know what I'm saying? Like, make a new scary movie. I'm always down for a new one. Like, we have the classics that kind of made the foundation for the newer scary movies that are coming out now, and even not even just making a new pathway for newer scary movies. But it's just like, I don't know, like I don't want it. Like if we're gonna reboot it again, it's just, I don't want it. It's dead. Like I feel like it's kind of a loss on their end. If you wanted to fire Melissa Barrera and everybody else drop, that's your bad. Like that, you should have never like done that.
And also, it's like a sign to maybe just let it go. Like,
absolutely.
I just can't see it happening, right? Like, when you think about it with like Halloween, right? Let's say for that example, are you caught up with like the series of Halloween?
No, I stopped because again, Jamie Lee is about 100 years old, still trying to kill Michael. Like, I'm tired.
It's right. So it's basically like that, right? It's like you have. I'm not gonna lie. I will watch Jamie Lee Curtis until she, God forbid.
No, I will too.
I will see her and Michael face off until she is in a wheelchair, throwing her wheelchair at him, if that's what it comes to. But when it comes to like the whole reboot, remake thing, like, can we ever really get a new Laurie? No. Can we ever get a new Sydney? No. And I think that's why I loved Scream 5 so much, because it was a remake, reboot, and gave us a quote-unquote new Sydney, but she wasn't anything like Sydney. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what made it stick out, right? Like, that's what gave it the distinction of like, okay, we're going to name it Scream, we're going to bring it back to Woodsboro, back to the house, back to everything, but we're going to do it in a new way that doesn't feel like it's been done before.
Absolutely.
And I feel like with Scream 7 kind of scrambling for like straws, we're just gonna get a BS remake with big stars that are like, are you gonna tell me you're gonna what? You're gonna reopen the movie and kill off the new Drew Barrymore? Who is it gonna be? Kim Kardashian? Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
And it's also like the franchise is so perfect at bringing in new killers and new victims that just, if you want to continue it, fine. Just continue it. Just find a way to say that this person was related to this person and now this person is mad that that person killed that person and now they want revenge. Like we always do. It's how the story continues. And it's like, but a reboot? I'm not here for a reboot. I will just say that, and I'm sorry to anyone who will listen to this and who is listening and is like pro Scream to the death of them. No, yeah, as of right now, for me, the Scream franchise has ended at 6. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've also seen fans all over Twitter and the internet say that maybe MTV should get the rights back and give us another season of the TV show that horribly declined post season 2, if I must say so myself. And how do I feel about that? As I said, season 1 and season 2, great seasons. We got season 3, and then we got season 4, and I was like, well, I don't even know why this is even a thing. I think we had like Tyga in it. If it was Tyga.
What? I've never seen the TV show, so like, forgive me. I swear, like, I've never seen it. But Tyga? What the fuck does Tyga know about Scream?
Don't get me wrong, okay? Don't get me wrong. I do not know my rappers unless they are females, but I believe it was Tyga. And Tyga, I'm sorry if you were never in Scream. I'm very sorry, but I believe it was him. I do know that we got Keke Palmer in the series, and I was like, yes, queen, love her, funny.
Okay.
Beautiful. She can scream. She can kick ass, but so underused in the show.
See.
Yeah, it was just they really tried something, and I wanted it to work so bad because they brought the original mask back for that one, but it just was not. The killers were so obvious from the jump. It was like if you didn't call the killers, you just don't watch the show.
Right.
But I firmly believe that if we're gonna continue the Scream series, then maybe we should take it back to a TV show where like it just doesn't have anything to do with the core storyline.
I feel like, now that you're saying that, I know this is probably in no relation, but I feel like if they were to do a Scream TV show, they could make it somewhat. This is a wild take, okay? You ready? It's a hot take.
I'm ready.
Like the Pretty Little Liars concept.
Oh, don't talk to me about Pretty Little Liars because that is my favorite show ever.
But you get what I'm trying to say. Like they were trying to figure out who A was and like drag the shit out, or maybe there's a bunch of A's and it's just like like I feel like they could make that really, really good.
Oh my gosh, they could literally have like a community of Ghostface fans from like
I'm saying
like a Reddit board where everyone's
that's
just
what
like...
I'm saying. Like in the movies, they're always pointing out like the Reddits are saying this and that, and it's just like, what are the chances that there's like a whole community where they just fucking do this and they're just fucking with everybody?
Oh my gosh, you are genius, and the writers of Scream 7 truly need to text you or call you because
baby, because
that is actually really good. It could even, very far-fetched, so hot take part 2, but it could even be something where it's like, you know how you have like a traveling circus? You could literally have these people built into other communities that just kill randomly or at the same time, and it's like 7 stabbings in California, 2 stabbings in New York.
That's giving Death Note vibes. I don't know if you've ever seen Death Note.
I haven't, but I want to now if that's what it's giving.
Oh my god, that whole concept is literally Death Note to a T.
Right, like I think that would be really cool, and it would be completely different. Or even have it to where it's like a cult, right? And we could call it like a cult of Ghostface. And it's just a bunch of people who like live and breathe by this person who's in a mask, and we could actually never even know who that person is.
Oh my god. That just gave me vibes of American Horror Story.
Yes.
The one where yes, I'm telling you.
Like at this point, just take from everything that says horror in it and just throw it into a pot and see what happens. But leave Nev, Courtney, Patrick, Melissa, Jenna, leave Jasmine Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, like just leave them alone at this point, because
absolutely,
if we're gonna reboot it, we have to reboot it and we have to make it fresh.
Absolutely.
And I just don't see it happening right now, especially with like the question of like, will any of the legacy characters actually come back? And there's rumors saying that Nev, Patrick, and Courtney have already denied their offers. Like, there's so much that could happen that's been happening that it's like, I don't really know where the future of the Scream franchise lies, and it's kind of upsetting, but I think at the same time, if it was to end with 6, I'm okay with it. I'll buy the collection and I'll watch the movies over and over again, and I'll be fine.
Yes.
But I will say that if they are going to take it and they're going to hold on to it, please, not that any of the writers or any of the actors will ever hear this podcast, fingers crossed, maybe they will, who knows. But please, if you are listening, anyone at any point, just please take it in the right direction, handle this with care, and just know that this is a beloved franchise that would be really, really unfortunate for it to go all down here from here over money or people speaking out against what's right. I think it's unfortunate that we want celebrities all the time to use their platform for what's good, and then when they do, they get fired or there's repercussions.
Absolutely.
It's stupid, to say the least.
I agree.
I think that's a wrap for episode 1.
I think so too.
I want to thank my co-host and guest Cheyenne for today's episode. Of course, please stay tuned for more to come. We are officially up and running. let's take it all the way. Again, I am your host, Ezra Rivers, and this is the final pod. Yay!
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Of course.
Alrighty.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.